Hello everyone. I am Santanu.
Today we'll learn about information security management with an example of a banking information management system.
Why information security matters. Information is the backbone of every organization. It drives business value and gives a competitive advantage. But assets are interconnected. To protect one, the whole environment must be secure. For example, securing only a database is not enough. The servers, networks, and users linked to it must also be protected. Information security management covers multiple layers. It is not just about technology. It also includes people, networks, activities, and the data itself. Think of it like a chain. If one link is weak, the entire system is at risk. Bank example. For example, in a bank, security isn't just about technology. People, customers, employees, and security staff. Network, online banking platforms, ATMs, and internal banking networks. Activities, fund transfers, withdrawals, loan approvals. Technology, banking apps, servers, encryption tools. Data, customer financial records, transaction logs. When we use an ATM, all these layers are involved. Each layer plays a vital role in ensuring complete security. If one fails, the entire system becomes vulnerable.
Roles in security management. Let's start with this diagram showing roles in security management. As you can see, it's a series of concentric circles representing different layers of responsibility. At the center, we have the operator, the person who uses the system every day. In a bank, this could be a cashier handling cash and customer transactions. The next layer is security staff, who monitor and enforce protections. For example, they track unusual withdrawals or suspicious activities. Then we have the security administrator, responsible for configuring and applying security policies. In a bank, this could be the IT administrator maintaining the servers or online banking systems. Finally, on the outermost layer, we have the system owners, the people ultimately accountable for security, such as bank management or compliance officers. This layered structure ensures that responsibility is shared, and if fraud or a security breach occurs, every layer has a role in detecting and preventing it.
Information sensitivity classification. Not all information has the same level of importance or sensitivity. That's why organizations classify data into different categories, such as public information, freely available, like a bank's interest rates posted on its website; internal use, meant for employees, such as internal memos; highly confidential, sensitive data like customer account details; proprietary information, valuable intellectual property like a fraud detection algorithm; and top secret, data needing maximum protection, such as encryption keys used for online banking. This classification helps determine what level of protection each type of information needs. For instance, customer data and encryption keys require the strongest encryption and access control.
The CIA triad. A fundamental concept in cybersecurity is the CIA triad. It stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Let's relate these to a banking context. Confidentiality means keeping customer information private. For example, your PIN or account password must remain secret. Integrity ensures that data is accurate. If you withdraw 10,000 rupees, your account balance must be updated correctly. Availability means services must be accessible. Online banking and ATMs should work 24/7, especially on salary days. However, the traditional CIA model has been expanded to include two more principles: authentication, verifying the identity of the user, like biometric logins or OTP verification, Non-repudiation ensuring that once a transaction is made, it cannot be denied, achieved through SMS or email alerts. If any part of this system fails, say the banking server goes down, customers lose trust. That's why maintaining the CIA triad is essential for every bank.
Security management follows a life cycle with multiple stages. Planning, setting goals and policies. For example, enforcing two-factor authentication for all users. Analysis, identifying risks like phishing or malware. Design, creating a security architecture with firewalls, encryption, and monitoring systems. Implementation, installing controls and training staff. Review, testing effectiveness through audits or penetration testing. Continual improvement, updating defenses like upgrading apps or issuing new secure cards. At the center of this life cycle is integration, meaning that security must be built into every process, not treated as an afterthought.
Information security management process isn't a one-time setup. It's a continuous process. It involves 3 key steps. Identify the computing environment. Understand what systems and data are critical. Assess the risks. Analyze threats like phishing, ATM skimming, or insider misuse. Improve continually. Update systems, policies, and training to keep up with new threats. In banking, this means regular audits, software updates, and employee training to reduce risk.
Standardization and certification. To ensure that organizations maintain a consistent and reliable level of security, we rely on standardization and certification. Standardization refers to following internationally recognized frameworks and best practices for information security. ISO/IEC standards are developed jointly by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, and the International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC. The most widely used among these is the ISO/IEC 27000 family, which provides a structured framework for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving an Information Security Management System, ISMS. FIPS, Federal Information Processing Standards, are developed by the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST. These standards define requirements for security, interoperability, and quality in federal information systems, especially in areas like encryption algorithms and cryptographic module security. FIPS compliance is mandatory for organizations handling sensitive government information or working with federal agencies. Together, these standards serve as guidelines for system owners to establish and maintain secure practices and for auditors to evaluate whether the organization's systems meet required security benchmarks. In upcoming sessions, we will plan and discuss a banking management system using key standards such as FIPS 199, Security Categorization of Federal Information and Information Systems, FIPS 200, Minimum Security Requirements for Federal Information Systems, NIST SP 853, Security and Privacy Controls for Federal Information Systems, NIST SP 818, Guide for Developing Security Plans for Federal Information Systems, and ISO/IEC 27002, Code of Practice for Information Security Controls. Certification, on the other hand, is the formal recognition that an organization complies with these standards. It is usually granted after an independent security audit conducted by accredited bodies. For example, in the banking sector, achieving ISO/IEC 27001 certification demonstrates to customers, regulators, and stakeholders that the bank's information security practices are effective, consistent, and continually monitored.
Roadmap. Now we will plan security design and risk assessment for a sample banking information system. We will cover system definition and categorization with FIPS 199. Select controls as per FIPS 200 with its subcategory NIST 800-53 controls, security plan as per NIST 800-18, perform risk analysis, business continuity and availability, and the ISO 27002 control choices.
The chosen system is the Sample Banking Information System. It manages customer accounts, transactions, loans, credit card processing, and online banking operations. Users include bank employees, customers, auditors, and administrators. The purpose of this system is to protect financial data while ensuring smooth and secure banking services. According to FIPS 199, every system is categorized based on confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the CIA triad. I classified 10 types of data as follows: customer personal details, high confidentiality, high integrity, moderate availability. Customer account numbers, high confidentiality, high integrity, moderate availability. Transaction records, high confidentiality, high integrity, and high availability. Login credentials and PINs, high confidentiality and high integrity. Loan and credit details, high confidentiality and high integrity. Employee or HR data, moderate in all three. System configuration files, moderate confidentiality, high integrity, and high availability. Financial reports, high confidentiality and high integrity. ATM network logs, moderate confidentiality, high integrity, and high availability. And finally, audit logs and security events, high in all three. From this classification, the highest values are high across confidentiality, integrity, and availability, so the final system baseline is classified as high. This means that any compromise could cause severe financial, legal, and reputational damage.
Select controls, FIPS 200 and NIST Special Publication 800-53. With a high baseline, the system must implement all 17 security control families defined in FIPS Publication 200 and further detailed in NIST Special Publication 800-53 Revision 5, titled Security and Privacy Controls for Information Systems and Organizations. These two standards work together. FIPS 200 defines the minimum security requirements, while NIST 800-53 provides the specific control details and implementation guidance for each requirement. Let's go through all 17 control families. Access control restricts users and enforces the principle of least privilege. Awareness and training ensures that every employee understands their security responsibilities. Audit and accountability records and reviews system activities to maintain traceability. Security assessment and authorization evaluates and authorizes the system's overall security posture. Configuration management manages software and hardware changes securely while maintaining baselines. Contingency planning ensures operations continue during disruptions or disasters. Identification and authentication verifies user identities before granting system access. Incident response detects, responds to, and recovers from security incidents. Maintenance performs both local and remote system maintenance securely. Media protection protects sensitive data on physical and digital media. Physical and environmental protection prevents unauthorized physical access and safeguards against fire or environmental damage. Planning defines and documents security policies and procedures. Personnel security
reduces insider threats through screening, training, and access control. Risk assessment identifies, analyzes, and mitigates system risks. System and services acquisition ensures all procured or developed systems are secure by design. System and communications protection secures communication channels, uses encryption, and protects data in transit. System and information integrity detects and corrects unauthorized changes, malware, or data corruption. Each of these 17 families is supported by detailed controls listed in NIST 853. For example, access control includes controls AC-1 to AC-25. Audit and accountability includes controls AU-1 to AU-16. And system and communications protection includes controls SC-1 to SC-51. Let's see a few examples of how these are applied to the sample banking information system. Customer personal data relies on controls like AC-2 for account management, IA-2 for user authentication, and SC-13 for cryptographic protection. Transaction records use controls such as AU-6 for audit review, SI-4 for system monitoring, and SC-28 for data protection at rest. System configuration files are protected using CM-2 for baseline configuration and MA-4 for remote maintenance. Together, the FIPS 200 control families and the NIST 853 control catalog create a structured, standardized, and measurable approach to securing the sample banking information system against internal and external threats. These controls ensure that the system achieves its primary security goals: confidentiality, integrity, and availability, while remaining compliant with international cybersecurity standards.
Documentation and Risk Analysis Security Plan, as per NIST 800-18. Now, let's go through the security plan for the Sample Banking Information System, prepared according to the NIST Special Publication 800-18 Guidelines. Information System Name. The name of the system is Sample Banking Information System. It is used for managing customer accounts, transactions, and online banking operations. Information System Categorization. As discussed earlier in the FIPS 199 section, the system is rated high for confidentiality, high for integrity, and high for availability. This means the system handles very sensitive financial and personal data. Information System Owner. The Board of Directors is the official owner of this system. They are responsible for all information security policies and approvals. Authorizing Official. The Board of Directors also acts as the authorizing official, formally approving the Information Security Plan and related policies. Other designated contacts. Key people include the Information Security Committee, business and department heads, the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, the RO, Chief Risk Officer, the CIO, Chief Information Officer, the Asset Custodian, IT Security and IT Operations teams, and the Internal Audit Department. Each of them plays a specific role in maintaining the system's security and compliance. Assignment of security responsibility. The CISO manages overall security. The IT teams apply technical controls, and internal auditors check whether policies and controls are followed properly. Information System Operational Status. The system is currently active and operational, serving customers and processing real banking transactions. Information System Type. It is classified as a major application because it supports core banking services and holds sensitive data such as financial transactions and customer information. General system description and purpose. The system supports customer account management, fund transfers and transactions, ATM and card operations, internet and mobile banking, loan and credit processing, and report generation for compliance. It must maintain high levels of confidentiality, integrity, and availability at all times. System environment. The system runs on core banking servers, database management systems, ATM and POS networks, web and mobile applications, and backup and disaster recovery data centers. It uses firewalls, routers, intrusion detection systems, VPNs, and authentication services to protect communication. All connections are encrypted, including links to payment gateways and internal networks. System interconnections and information sharing. The system securely connects with payment gateways, regulatory reporting systems, and third-party services. All data exchanges are encrypted, authenticated, and logged to prevent unauthorized access. Related laws, regulations, and policies. The system complies with the RBI Cybersecurity Framework for Banks, PCI DSS, ISO/IEC 27001 and 27002, the IT Act of 2000, GDPR for international data protection, and the bank's own IT and data protection policies. These ensure legal compliance and strong governance. Minimum security controls. The system implements the FIPS 200 minimum security requirements, covering all 17 control families from NIST SP 800-53, including access control, risk assessment, incident response, and configuration management. These controls protect the system against data breaches, unauthorized access, and service disruptions. Information System Security Plan completion date. The plan is developed under the supervision of the CISO and Information Security Committee after all required controls are documented and verified. Information System Security Plan approval date. Finally, the Board of Directors reviews and approves the plan. It will be updated regularly whenever new threats or system changes occur.
Performing risk analysis for the banking information system. Now let's move to perform risk analysis for our sample banking information system. In this step, we analyze different types of threats that may affect the system and measure their impact in two ways: qualitatively, by judging how likely and how severe they are, and quantitatively, by calculating the financial loss using the annual loss expectancy, or ALE, formula. Part 1. Qualitative risk analysis, threat analysis. In qualitative analysis, we list all possible threats to the system and evaluate them based on two factors: their likelihood of occurrence and their impact on the system if they happen. For the banking system, threats are divided into three main categories: natural threats, accidental threats, and intentional threats. Natural threats. First, natural threats. These include events like earthquakes, fires, floods, and storms. Such events can cause physical damage to data centers, servers, or network equipment, resulting in service unavailability and infrastructure loss. However, since such events are rare, their occurrence is rated as low or rare. Another natural threat is a pandemic or biological incident. During such times, staff may fall sick or be unavailable, leading to operational delays and reduced monitoring. This is classified as very rare in likelihood, but with medium impact. Accidental threats. Next, we have accidental threats. These are unintentional mistakes made by humans or system errors. User error is one of the most common issues, such as accidental deletion of data, invalid input, or mishandling transactions.
This occurs frequently and can cause medium to high impact. Another accidental risk is administrator misconfiguration, for example, setting wrong network or security permissions. This can lead to unauthorized access, service outage, or compliance violations. It occurs moderately often and has a high impact. Hardware or software failures, such as server crashes, disk failures, or corrupted databases, can lead to downtime or data loss. This occurs moderately with medium impact. Power outages also pose a risk. If the UPS fails or the main grid power is lost, it can cause ATM and core banking downtime and incomplete transactions. This happens frequently and has a high impact. Finally, backup failure, when data backups are incomplete or missing, can delay disaster recovery and cause partial data loss. This is less frequent and rated low in likelihood. Intentional threats. Now let's discuss intentional threats. These are deliberate attacks targeting the banking system. The most critical among them are cyber attacks, including malware, ransomware, credential theft, and brute force attacks. These are very frequent and have a very high impact, causing unauthorized access, data breaches, and even complete system shutdowns. Another intentional threat is the insider threat, when employees misuse their access or steal data. Though rare, it can cause serious financial fraud and data manipulation. Social engineering and phishing attacks are also common. Fraudulent emails or fake websites are used to trick users into revealing their credentials. These occur frequently and have high impact, leading to account compromise and unauthorized transactions. Denial of service attacks, DOS or DDoS, target banking portals or ATM networks, causing service disruption and downtime. These are moderately frequent with high impact. ATM skimming or card cloning involves tampering with ATM devices to steal card information. This can lead to customer fraud and reputation loss and occurs moderately often. Finally, data breaches by external actors, when hackers penetrate the core banking system or databases, can result in identity theft, legal penalties, and regulatory action. This is moderately likely and rated high in impact.
Risk Summary Table. After evaluating all these threats, we summarize their likelihood, impact, and risk level. Cyber attacks are very frequent with very high impact. Risk level, critical. Phishing and power outages, frequent and high impact. Risk level, high. Administrator misconfiguration and denial of service, moderate likelihood, high impact. Risk level, high. Hardware or software failure and ATM skimming, moderate likelihood, medium impact. Risk level, medium. User error, frequent likelihood, medium impact, risk level, high. Insider threats, rare but high impact, risk level, medium. Earthquake or natural disasters, rare, high impact, risk level, medium. Backup failures and pandemics, low likelihood, medium impact, risk level, low. This completes the qualitative risk analysis, which helps us prioritize the threats based on their probability and effect.
In quantitative risk analysis, we estimate the financial impact of each threat. We use 4 parameters: asset value, exposure factor, single loss expectancy, and annual rate of occurrence. The result gives us the annual loss expectancy, or ALE, representing total expected yearly loss. Here is the quantitative summary of the top 5 high-risk threats. Cyber attacks have the highest financial loss of 3 lakh rupees per year. Phishing attacks cost about 1.5 lakh, and power outages around 1,28,000 per year. The total estimated annual loss for all top threats is around 7,16,000 rupees.
Part 3 focuses on continuity and availability. The ability of a banking system to continue operations even during failures, disasters, or cyber attacks. Let's begin with business continuity planning. The banking information system supports critical operations such as customer deposits and withdrawals, fund transfers through NEFT, RTGS, and IMPS, ATM and POS transactions, online and mobile banking, loan processing, and financial reporting. Among these, core banking transactions rank the highest in priority, as they directly impact customers and financial stability. Online and mobile banking come next, followed by ATM services and payment gateways that enable card-based transactions. Other systems, like reporting, compliance, and HR functions, support operations, but are less time-sensitive. To ensure that these services remain uninterrupted, the bank adopts several continuity strategies. Data backup and redundancy. Real-time data replication ensures that customer and transaction data are continuously copied to a disaster recovery location. Off-site and cloud backups safeguard against local data center failures, and daily incremental backups help restore services faster. All backups are encrypted to prevent unauthorized access. Disaster recovery sites. A secondary data center maintains synchronized servers. If the primary system fails, operations automatically switch to the backup site, a process known as automatic failover. This eliminates manual recovery delays and ensures minimal downtime. High availability infrastructure. The system uses multiple servers with load balancing, so user requests are distributed evenly. RAID-based storage and uninterrupted power supplies protect against hardware failures or power cuts. In the event of a server crash, standby servers take over instantly to keep services running. Network and connectivity resilience. The bank uses multiple internet service providers to ensure constant connectivity. Encrypted VPN connections enable secure remote access for employees, while firewalls and intrusion prevention systems defend against denial of service attacks. Incident response and crisis management. A 24/7 monitoring team continuously checks for abnormalities. Immediate response and predefined communication plans ensure that employees, management, and customers are informed promptly during emergencies. Business continuity teams and remote access. Employees are trained for specific roles in emergencies. Alternate work locations and remote systems ensure that work can continue even if the main branch or data center becomes inaccessible. Lastly, regular testing, such as disaster recovery drills and vulnerability assessments, ensure that these strategies are always up to date and effective.
Next, let's discuss availability metrics and system reliability. To measure how resilient a system is, we use two key parameters, MTTR and MTBF. MTTR, or mean time to repair, represents the average time it takes to detect, fix, and restore a system after failure. The goal is to keep MTTR as low as possible through automated monitoring, predefined recovery procedures, hot-swappable hardware, and remote management tools. MTBF, or mean time between failures, measures system reliability, that is, how long the system can run without errors or downtime. To increase MTBF, the bank conducts regular preventative maintenance, applies software patches, and balances workloads across servers to prevent overload. When it comes to architectural design, there are two main models for redundancy: N plus M, or active standby, and M plus N, or active-active. In an active-active model, the backup systems remain idle until the main system fails, which can cause a short delay in service restoration. On the other hand, in an active-active configuration, all systems work simultaneously and share the load. If one fails, the others immediately continue without interruption. Although the active-active configuration is more expensive, it provides near-zero downtime and extremely high reliability. Because of its continuous operation and instant failover capability, it is the best choice for banking and financial systems. In summary, the combination of low MTTR, high MTBF, and active-active redundancy ensures that banking operations remain always available, reinforcing customer confidence, regulatory compliance, and overall business resilience.
Part 4 explains how the ISO 27002 framework helps banks protect their information systems through 13 well-defined security control domains. These domains together create a complete security environment, covering governance, protection, operations, external coordination, and resilience. Let's begin with governance controls. Every bank starts with a formal information security policy, approved by management and updated regularly. It defines roles, responsibilities, and acceptable use of systems. Next, the organization of information security ensures that duties are clearly separated and third-party access is tightly controlled. Then, asset management maintains an inventory of hardware, software, and data, classifying each asset as public, internal, or confidential. This foundation makes sure every resource is tracked and protected. The next layer is protection controls. Access control restricts entry through role-based permissions and multi-factor authentication, preventing unauthorized access. Cryptography secures data both at rest and in transit using strong encryption and proper key management. And physical and environmental security protects the actual infrastructure, server rooms, data centers, and equipment with restricted access, CCTV, and fire protection systems. Then come the operational controls, which secure daily activities. Operations security involves malware defense, system logging, patch management, and change control to prevent compromise. Communication security keeps networks and data flows safe through firewalls, intrusion detection, and VPN encryption. System acquisition and development controls require secure coding, testing, and vulnerability assessments before deployment. The external and response controls deal with outside parties and incident handling. Supplier and third-party security ensures vendors meet the bank's security standards through contract clauses and audits. Incident management provides a clear path for detecting, reporting, and analyzing security incidents, so responses are quick and evidence is preserved. Finally, the resilience and compliance controls guarantee continuity and legal alignment. Business continuity and disaster recovery planning include redundant systems, off-site backups, and regular drills to maintain service availability during disruptions. And compliance controls make sure the bank follows regulations such as RBI guidelines, PCI DSS, GDPR, and the IT Act 2000, preventing penalties and protecting reputation. In summary, ISO 27002 brings together all aspects of information protection, from governance and technology to people and recovery. By implementing these 13 domains, a bank achieves consistent security, resilience, and customer trust across its entire digital infrastructure.